If you've been exploring permaculture and the concept of food forests, you've probably heard of guilds. And you might be wondering, are guilds a thing that nature really does? Because the idea behind a food forest is to mimic the way that nature grows and that forests grow. So today we're going to answer the question, guilds, does nature really do that? Let's take a look. Hi, I'm Jessie from Onion Grass Gardens, and today we're going to be looking at a guild that nature created in my yard. If you're not familiar with the idea of guilds in permaculture and food forests, I'll give a quick rehash here. There are a lot of great videos on the internet doing a much more thorough explanation, but I'll give a brief one here. If all this is old hat to you and you already know about guilds, you can skip ahead to this time and move forward from there. The general concept behind food forests and specifically fruit tree guilds or tree guilds is that you have a main larger tree that provides broad canopy. Around that you might have smaller or medium trees, although you can start a guild with a medium-sized tree and forget the higher layer. But if you have your medium-sized tree, you surround that with shrubs, and then you can have a vining layer, you can have some ground cover, you can have a root layer. So there's general different layers to the guild, but the idea is that all these species support one another. For example, in your tree guild, you may have your main tree, but you may also have some support trees and shrubs that do things like fix nitrogen and put nitrogen back in the soil for that main tree that you're focusing on. You also might have vines to climb up that tree, such as grapes or kiwi, so that you can then harvest fruit vertically, or have other things that run along the ground. You might have some annuals out at the edges like pumpkins for ground cover. So there's a lot of different ways you can create a fruit tree guild. And we're going to see today it's right behind me actually, a tree guild. It's not a fruit tree, but there are fruits in here, or at least the potential for fruits. So we're going to take a look at that and what nature created on its own that looks like a purposeful guild made by a permaculturist, except it was done by nature. So the area we're going to be talking about today is this tree and all the greenery around it. And all of this was developed by nature. This was not made intentionally by me. This is just a guild that happened naturally. This tree was here when we moved in 4 years ago. I didn't remove it because in the winter, when the leaves fall, you can actually see tiny little nests up inside of it. And I think they are either hummingbird or finch nests. So obviously I didn't want to remove that, especially since the finches tend to help me with my caterpillars. Let's look at the base of the tree here. There's a lot going on. Now we cut back a large shrub thing that is growing back within here, and you can see the leaves of it right here. This is likely an autumn olive, and that is a nitrogen fixing shrub that is growing right at the base of the tree here. And covering that, you can see there is a layer of vines, which are actually honeysuckle. Both the honeysuckle and the autumn olive are considered invasive, but they're kind of a proof in point here that nature automatically, all on her own, put in a nitrogen fixer and some vines. Coming around on the edges, we have this plant, which is a native plant here. I'm not sure what type of flower this is. It gets small yellow flowers on it, but this is an annual right here at the edge. Coming around, I had the same idea myself of maybe making this some kind of guild, And I planted a little blueberry bush here, which the honeysuckle are already trying to take over. Now, part of this guild that I am going to be getting rid of, look at this right here. Leaves of 3, let it be, right folks? Except we're not going to let it be, because that is some poison oak. And when I come in to gather blueberries here in the future, I don't want to go back with a rash. So we're going to get rid of that. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. McFluff would really appreciate that. Alright, coming around the side, we have some other little shrub-like plants coming into play. I don't know what these are. If you know what they are, please let me know in the comments below. This one's new to me. And again, we've got the honeysuckle kind of vining out over here. Back around on this side, what we have is some wild raspberry. Again, some more of this annual wildflower, but we've got wild raspberry coming up all over this place and going thickly back to the tree. So this has created some wild fruiting canes, the autumn olives, which can also be harvested for food. We've got wildflowers, vines, and shrubs all coming together supporting this tree. And nature made it. The only thing that I planted was the blueberry, and the only thing I'm going to remove is the poison oak. Hiding underneath the raspberries also. Look at this. It's a little native rose. These make a nice little open white blossom in the spring. So there you have it. Proof of concept, right? Nature really does make guilds. One happened right here in my yard, while at the same time I'm trying to create a food forest. Nature just said, here Jess, here's an example. Do it like this. Right there in front of me. That's amazing.